South Africans are in a race to stockpile groceries and other essentials as the countdown to a 3-week restriction on movement of people, goods and services begins.
The thing is, we cannot control the panic. We can't, because this is serious.
President Cyril Ramaphosa announced sweeping new measures to curb the spread of coronavirus on Monday. All businesses will close with the exception of pharmacies, supermarkets, banks and petrol stations. And health workers, emergency and security personnel will still need to work.
The nationwide lockdown is necessary to fundamentally disrupt the chain of transmission across society. I have accordingly directed the South African National Defence Force to be deployed to support the South African Police Service in ensuring that the measures we are announcing are implemented.
The lockdown is one of the toughest yet taken by any African country, and it's already been felt by travelers trying to beat the deadline.
If I don't get home, if I can't get a seat in the bus, then I don't think I'm going to go.
Economists warn the lockdown will cause thousands of people to lose their jobs and further cripple an economy which is already in recession. Adesewa Josh, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined now by Agnes Gitau in London. She is a consulting partner at the advisory firm GBS Africa. Welcome back to Money Talks, Agnes. Now, there's no question that such a lockdown is vital for health reasons, but there are fears that it could take a really severe toll on the economy, particularly in South Africa, which was already suffering from 30% unemployment and low economic growth. What sort of impact will this lockdown have on South Africa's economy?
Of course, thank you very much, Oscar, for having me, and I do hope you're keeping safe. But it is it's going to devastate the economy, which has already been struggling. We know very well that since last sort of 10 years, South Africans have tried to manage the economy under President Ramaphosa, something that has been absolutely almost impossible. So the lockdown obviously will have impact on the economy, job losses. It will impact South Africa's economy in the supply chains, the tourism sector. All sectors will suddenly be affected by the lockdown.
Now, as we know, South Africa has quite a significant informal economy, that is workers who aren't really officially on the books. How will this measure, this 3-week lockdown, affect them?
It's going to be a challenge. The lockdown starts today. You already know over 3 million people already live in the slum places in South Africa. So to manage and to be able to control, first of all, not even about the economy, but the health and hygiene of these people will be a very daunting task for the South Africa's leadership, and we do hope that they will be able to succeed.
Yes. Now, is there any sign of the South African government helping the people who will be the worst affected during this 3-week lockdown?
So President Ramaphosa has already announced key measures. Obviously, there's going to be rate cuts. The Reserve Bank already announced that last week. Central Bank is also making sure that there is access to liquidity for commercial banks. But in terms of supporting the South Africans, certainly nothing has been explained or clarified yet, but they will. I am certain South Africa is a leader in the region. We've seen a lot of measures in other countries like Kenya, Rwanda, and we are certainly expecting that the South African government will find way or will come up with ways in the coming days, obviously, to try and support the most vulnerable in the society.
Now, after reporting its first case of COVID-19 on the 5th of March, South Africa now has the highest number of infections in sub-Saharan Africa. What challenges does South Africa face in terms of really tackling this unprecedented health crisis?
So the first focus for the country, like everybody else, is to try and contain to avoid spreading of the virus. Of course, the lockdown is probably the first attempt to do that. And you're absolutely right. A week ago, they only had 62 cases. Tonight, according to the coronavirus tracker, there are over 900 cases. So it is just growing, and the economy is exposed, the country is exposed, and it's suddenly going to be a challenge. We've seen developed economies have dithered and struggled to come up with decisive action to try and, first of all, save lives. At the same time, make sure the economy is not affected. But, Oscar, we've seen some head start from the African continent, led by countries like Rwanda, Kenya, and we do hope that these will obviously have some results. One of the biggest challenges already in the continent is our health care systems are already very weak. So if we are not able to contain and to stop the spread of the coronavirus, Africa is going to be hurt. And South Africa, I guess today's, President Ramaphosa's announcement of the lockdown starting today will be a starting point to see whether other African countries can follow suit.
And we'll be keeping a close eye on how the lockdown unfolds in South Africa. Agnes Gitau from GBS Africa in London, thank you so much again for your analysis.